Okay, so I've been using the Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra here for 2025 for the past 2.5 weeks or so, and I've been using the iPad Pro pretty much for the last year. This is the M4 13-inch with the nano texture display option. Of course, this was very expensive, and it is laptop territory in price. In fact, both of these really are laptop territory in terms of pricing. We'll get into a little bit later how I feel about that. Now, both have keyboards here. This is the Magic Keyboard, a $350 option at the time. I guess it's still that. And then this one is the slim cover, a book cover style keyboard, slim one that is available for this. This is about $200 or so, which I think is expensive for what you're getting here. We'll get into that. There's no pro style keyboard with the touchpad and the kickstand like we saw on the S9 Ultra and the S10 Ultra from last couple of years. I have the S9 Ultra here. I didn't go to the S10 Ultra. I decided not to upgrade. Didn't feel it was warranted. I'm glad I didn't. So I'm going from the Tab S9 Ultra to the S11 Ultra in terms of the tablet. Now, they are very different in a lot of ways. This has a dynamic AMOLED 2X display. It's 120 hertz. It is pretty gorgeous. It's pretty bright, as you can see. It is glossy. You can definitely see some gloss. They do put an anti-glare coating on it. This is the nano texture display. It is fantastic. It is also a tandem OLED display. And with this nano texture, it reduces a lot of glare and reflection. So that is an advantage I think this has over this. I wish they offered something similar in terms of a nano texture matte finish. This is not what we get on here. Now, I also have the paper matte display on that Huawei MatePad Pro 13.2 inch, I believe. And that one is my favorite probably out of all of them. We'll look at that as well. But as far as what you can get here in the US, these are the two top-of-the-line flagship tablets from Apple and from Samsung, respectively. So we're going to get in today why I think this is a very good choice, maybe not as good as some of the offerings out there as far as laptops are concerned. We'll talk about that. But as far as tablets alone, just putting aside laptops, I really love this Tab S11 Ultra, although it is not perfect. In some ways, it has some advantages over the iPad Pro, whereas the iPad Pro has some advantages over this. We're going to find out which one really rises to the top. Hey, everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra and my comparison to the iPad Pro 13 M4 with a nano texture display. That and more is coming up. Now, when it comes to the display, these are a little bit different. So this has a 16:10 aspect ratio. This has a 4:3. So a little bit taller on this one, a little bit wider on this one. 16:10 is more common of what we find with laptops nowadays here in 2025. So I think that is a really good aspect ratio to blend of watching movies, consuming media, and getting work done, right? That's more traditional, at least for now. Now, this is a 4:3 aspect ratio, so Apple likes to do things differently. So whether you like it or not, that's what you get here. It's a little bit taller, a little bit more boxier. That's what you see right over here. All right, let's talk about the differences in these displays because I think this is one of the key differences between the two. Now, as far as the Apple iPad Pro, this has a tandem OLED display. This is a 4:3 aspect ratio, as I mentioned, 2752 by 2064 resolution, right? So that has a contrast of 2 million to 1. It has 1,000 nits of standard dynamic range in terms of brightness, as 1,600 nits in peak brightness. So I think this one is really, really good in that regard. It has a refresh rate up to 120 hertz. It can go from 10 hertz to 120 hertz. And it does have the P3 wide color gamut support. So that's going to be very good. It also has True Tone that automatically adjusts the display, the color and intensity to match the ambient light of your environment. It has low reflectivity. So this has actually the nano texture display, which is available as an option. You know, of course, it's on the higher end options for the 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes, but it does reduce a lot of the glare. Now, if you go with the standard display, it does have an anti-reflective coating for those that want lower reflectivity. It does have it. Now, when it comes to this display, this is a 14.6 inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display, also 120 hertz here. And it is very bright. It is pretty gorgeous. And I'm really liking this display. So they're claiming here 1,000 nits Standard dynamic range can peak up to 1600 nits in HDR. So they're equivalent in that regard, and they're very bright. You can use this in both indoor and outdoor for both of them. No issues with that. Now, this is running Android 16. This is running iOS. I don't know what number they're up to, but it's actually iPad OS. I shouldn't say iOS. It's iPad OS. And it's getting more and more laptop-like, right? Over time with this Magic Keyboard, you're actually able to do more and more desktop PC type experiences. Now, this has something called DeX. So if I scroll down here, so say if I open this window here, and I can just move it around, and you can see here, very Windows 11-like, you know, you can definitely have multiple windows open here. You can just go around scrolling around, blah, blah, blah. So it's definitely very good in that regard. And then, of course, you can maximize it to the full screen, or you can go back to the normal type of situation with Windows, or with the Windows type or tablet style, of course, I should say. But if you scroll down like that, you can definitely make this more like a window in, like, say, Windows 11 to make you more productive. All right, battery life actually is very similar between the two. So my experience so far, 2.5 weeks on the Tab S11 Ultra, 9 to 10 hours. Same thing on the iPad Pro, because I have the Wi-Fi cellular. They claim 10 hours for the non-cellular version, just the Wi-Fi. But when you have the Wi-Fi cellular, about 9 hours. And I would say mixed use, and I would say that's about accurate. Battery life is pretty decent on both. I didn't see a marked improvement in terms of the battery life from the S9 Ultra that I used. Again, I didn't get the S10 Ultra to the S11 Ultra. So you're looking at 9 to 10 hours between the both. So I don't think there's an advantage one way or the other, at least in my real world testing so far. I put the brightness to pretty much all the way. So just so you know, when I'm using it in real world, I like it as bright as possible. So both have been on full brightness the whole time. So you probably can eke out more battery life. Obviously, if you lower the brightness, lower some of the settings, it depends on what they are, and maybe lower the refresh rate if you can. I don't know. I know it's automatic sometimes when you enable that, but bottom line is you could probably play with some of the settings and eke out a little bit more battery life. Let's talk keyboards here. So they're very different in a lot of ways. So this is the Magic Keyboard. You know about this. This one is very expensive. It's $350. And this one is a great accessory, although I find it's a little bit not balanced. It can tip over very easily. I'm not sure what the deal is. I didn't have this on the previous version with my 12.9-inch iPad, but with this 13-inch move that they made, and they redesigned this Magic Keyboard, it gets a little top heavy. So I noticed it tips over a little bit. If you put a little bit too much force, it can tip over. You see how easily that moves? This is more sturdy. So what they did here, this is the slim keyboard option. This is a $200 premium versus the $350 on this one. Now, there is no pro level keyboard option like we saw on the S9 Ultra or the S10 Ultra. That one, of course, is supposedly coming, so I haven't been able to get one. Obviously, they didn't release it yet. From what I hearing, they are releasing it at some point. I don't have a date. But this has no backlight on it. It has no touchpad, but the Pro one does. And that will be also about $350 or so, and that's going to be very expensive. Again, I have no official pricing or availability. That being said, this is an improved keyboard over the last iteration as far as the slim keyboard. A little bit better functionality in terms of stability. So there's a little latch here. So when you place it in the center right here in that groove, it actually gives you a little bit more support, and you get very little to no movement when it's in there. So that's good. Problem is you only get one fixed angle. With the Magic Keyboard, you can sort of use different angles here. You can see it there. Although I wish you would go back further. Although, like I said, a little bit top heavy, right? So a little of an engineering flaw, I think, by Apple on that, which I'm surprised at. I thought they would have figured that out, not to do that. This is the S9 Ultra, right? So this is the one that I was bragging about because I really love this keyboard. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit the S11 Ultra, but on the S9 Ultra and probably S10 maybe, I don't know, I don't have one. This has a backlight on it. That this keyboard is actually really very notebook-like, laptop-like, and it does a very good job in that sense. Now, here's the difference between the Pro-style keyboard on my Tab S9 Ultra versus the S11 Ultra in the slim keyboard. Obviously, this one was very expensive, maybe $350, $400, which I think is way overpriced, but you are able to do all the type of things you can do on like a Surface device with the kickstand. Very good. This one is fixed angle, a little bit more sturdy. That is pretty good. Now, I will say that this is a really nice accessory. It is backlit. It has also got a touchpad. This does not have it, so that's a big difference. Hopefully, they'll be releasing a pro-style keyboard like this one, hopefully improved in some ways for this one, but nothing official just yet, so we'll have to wait and see. Magic Keyboard over here, and this one, you know, I don't have to tell you, you know all about this. This one is a now metal over here, a great, it's a great keyboard in that sense, but again, top heavy and not balanced properly, in my opinion. I find I'm constantly having to prevent it from tipping over when it's in this keyboard, Magic Keyboard. That is the differences between the keyboards. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Which one do you prefer out of these three styles? All right, let's talk performance here. And I would say, before we get into it, there's no competition here. The M4 processor is pretty amazing from Apple. Whether you're looking at it in their laptops or whether you're looking at it on the iPad, it's pretty amazing. It's got excellent single and multi-core performance, and it'll be better than this one. We're talking about the MediaTek Dimensity 9400 Plus. It's a 3-nanometer chipset. This, of course, is the M4, and this is, again, like I said, more powerful. You can run pro-level apps on this. You know, have Final Cut Pro. You've got other pro-level Apple type of applications you can run on this. Blackmagic, you can run DaVinci Resolve on this, and it's got a lot of the same functionality as a desktop or laptop, but it is in this tablet form factor, and it's becoming more and more desktop-like over time. Now, speaking of desktop, this has the DeX mode, an improved DeX mode, and I've showed you a little bit in that unboxing video where it's now become more Windows-like, right? So you can just move this around, and you can see here, and let me give you a better angle there, you can see that this is very, very much Windows-like. You can resize, you can move things around with your finger, or you can use the S Pen. We'll talk about the differences between the Apple Pencil and the S Pen in a little bit. This is a great way to work, to be more productive, more Windows 11-like, but I like the DeX mode quite a bit, and I think they've improved it. I'll have to do a separate video on it to show you the full functionality because there's a lot to talk about, but it really gives you a Windows 11-like experience. And if you want that more laptop Windows-like experience, then use the DeX. But you don't have to. You can just use the regular tablet mode and you'll be fine. So here you can see this new S Pen has a little button on it. So if I press that, I can get a contextual menu here and change the tips and so forth. You can go to different colors here, just different style pen if you want to change things out here. And you can see this is now watercolor and stuff like that. Whereas, and let me give you more of a close-up here. And this, of course, is the Apple Pencil. It's a very different experience with this nano texture, but it is also good for taking notes. I like the S Pen in a lot of ways because it works more like a Windows style styluses that we've seen, or styli. This one is a little bit different. You squeeze for the contextual menu there. So it's just a matter of personal preference. I am not an artist, so I just want to let you know that, as you can see. But there's just a little bit differences between the two. Maybe we'll do a separate video on it. It is a taller thing here. You can see it here. This is the Apple Pencil Pro, and this is the new S Pen by Samsung. So you can see that it is a little bit taller, and they both are now squared off. You can both store them on top. This one charges. This one I don't think has a battery, so there's nothing to charge, but that's the way it goes. Okay, so when it comes to gaming, both are pretty capable. Obviously, the M4 is very powerful. I've got Asphalt running on both of these. Asphalt Legends, I think. So these are actually pretty good. You can connect this Xbox controller. I've connected it to both of them. So it's actually connected to this one right now, but it worked fine on the Samsung. So both working well in terms of gaming. So if you want to game on your downtime, you certainly have that option here. Now on the top, you have your power button and you have your volume rocker up and down. On the iPad, you have your volume up and down, and they actually now make the buttons proper. So this one is up and this one is down. That was reversed the last few iterations before this. Now, as far as the USB-C port, it's located on the side right there on the Samsung, And you're looking at USB 3.2 Gen 2, whereas this is a Thunderbolt 4 port, and that is located on the side right there. So that is an advantage on the iPad versus the Samsung. Thunderbolt 4 is 40 gigabits per second. You're limited to 10 gigabits per second on this USB-C port on the Tab S11 Ultra. Now, when it comes to the audio, you're looking at quad speakers on the Samsung and quad speakers on the iPad. So 4 speakers each. Both sound excellent. I think the Samsung might actually sound a little louder. We'll check it out on the meter here, although the iPad Pro has some excellent sound. But as they made it thinner, I don't know if it necessarily got better over the years. So amazing sound on both, I think. So let's you be the judge. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now let's give them a listen. iPad Pro. Well, that was surprising. The Samsung was actually louder than the iPad Pro. Was not expecting that. So let me know what you think. This was much louder than that one. Whether or not the fidelity of the overall sound was better, that's up for debate. I think they both sounded excellent. So good job by Samsung and certainly by Apple here. But again, let me know what you think in the comments section below. So this is the FaceTime camera on the Apple iPad Pro, 13-inch, running the M4. This is 1080p video. What do you think about the video quality? And as you can see, this is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra here for 2025. This is 4K video on the front-facing camera. What do you think about it? It's 30 frames per second. All right, so overall, to bring it all home, what do I think about the Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra versus the iPad Pro with the M4? M4 is a superior chipset. Let's be clear about it. It's got more single and multi-core performance. That being said, this one from MediaTek here, which of course is the MediaTek Dimensity 9400 plus. It's hard to remember these. It's a 3 nanometer, and I would say it does okay. It's not going to be good as the M4. Let's be clear, although it's very capable. I was able to game on them on both of these, and I didn't see any real world difference between the two. Battery life is 9 to 10 hours between the both of them, so there was no real advantage one way or the other. Both have excellent displays, although the tandem OLED with that nano texture on the iPad Pro looks fantastic to me. I really like this in terms of that. Now, the dynamic AMOLED 2X display, we've seen it before from Samsung. 1,000 nits standard dynamic range, 1,600 nits HDR. Very bright, indoor, outdoor, colorful. It's the typical Samsung, and there you go. As far as this is concerned, I guess I like them both. I don't know which one is better. If you want a 4:3 aspect ratio, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, obviously it's a no-brainer. The iPad is the way to go. Whereas this one is a more traditional 16:10 aspect ratio. You'll get work done. So that is that. And now, of course, keyboards. I do like this Magic Keyboard quite a bit. It is expensive, and it is top heavy when the tablet's in this, situated on this, so it may tip over. Not a great engineering job there by Apple, and is one thing that I didn't realize was going to be an issue till now, and it has been. This one is more sturdy. They put a little bit improvements in terms of the stability with that little latch on the back, so when you place it in, it sort of locks into place. Fixed angle here, and again, there's supposedly a pro-level keyboard with a backlight and a touchpad coming. Again, not available just yet. What do you think about the pens? I got the S Pen here, and you got the Apple Pencil Pro. Each have their pros. I guess they have some cons there. Do I prefer the old S Pen? Maybe. I don't know. I'm indifferent. I'm not an artist. I take notes occasionally here and there, and I had no problem taking notes with this new S Pen. Now, as far as price is concerned, these were not cheap. Obviously, I'll put them on the screen right now. you're getting into laptop territory in both of them, really. And if you want that nano texture display, you're going to have to go with the 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte options, and it gets very, very expensive, almost prohibitively expensive. Although I have been growing to love this over time, the past year that I've had it. This one, I did trade in my S9 Ultra, and I got $700, I believe, which I guess is good for a tablet that's a couple of years old. So that sort of alleviated the problem in some ways. But is it a huge upgrade over the S9 Ultra, Tab S9 Ultra, as far as this one is concerned? And the answer is no, I don't think so. You do have improved stuff here and there, but if you already have the S9 Ultra and certainly S10 Ultra, I don't see a compelling reason to upgrade to the S11 Ultra here in 2025. Now, if you're coming from something older, obviously that's a different story. And if you're in the Samsung ecosystem, it makes it a little easier, as you start using the devices interchangeably within the ecosystem. Obviously, Apple, the same thing in the Apple ecosystem. So it just depends which one you're in. So do I have a preference, one or the other? Not really. They have their pros, they have their cons. Now, this is not a total laptop replacement. I tried. I've done that in the past. I've tried. It's not a foolproof scenario with this in terms of replacing your laptop, just going with that only. I've tried it and I just can't do the full video editing that I want to do. Just not comfortable doing it, and there are some limitations, especially with the file system, which has gotten better. This with Dex is a little bit more Windows-like, and you can do a little bit more in terms of more of a productive machine in some ways. But again, not a foolproof, not a surefire thing as a laptop replacement. I don't think we're there yet. I think we're heading there. We're just not there yet. At least in my experience, my opinion, we are not there. That being said, they make great companion devices, great media consumption devices. They're good for both indoor and outdoor use, great for artists. So I like them both. So if I had to choose one or the other, I might choose the iPad Pro for one reason and one reason only. I love the nano texture option here. That makes a big difference. I don't like glare. I don't like reflection. Maybe it's just me, but it is pretty gorgeous. And I'm a big fan of the tandem OLED. I just wish it wasn't so damn expensive. I would like to see a nano texture style option on this one. We don't get it. It's more of a very slight iteration from the previous dynamic AMOLED 2X displays. I don't know why they just call AMOLED, right? 120 hertz is absolutely gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely gorgeous, but I do like the nano texture. Let me know your opinions. Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comment section below. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. And if you are a casual viewer of my content, why not hit that subscribe button? It doesn't cost you anything. And you know what? It helps go support the channel as we're growing our channel. We're making our big push for 300,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're nearly 270 right now, on pace to hit that big milestone. So I do appreciate the support. If you're going to buy something like the Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra or even the iPad Pro, I don't think I'm an affiliate on that, so don't quote me on that. But on the Samsung, I am. So I do get a small commission. Helps support the channel, helps keep the lights on here in the studio. So until next time, this is Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.